Hello once again, everybody. I'm Chris Berman. Welcome to perhaps sports' most famous venue, Yankee Stadium. And as we begin our Wednesday night baseball doubleheader on ESPN, it's only fitting that the pivotal game between the Orioles and the Yankees takes place right here at Yankee Stadium. The Yankees proved early they were men for all seasons, and their wins came in flurries. But the bashing Birds came out on fire, starting 11-2. In New York, old heroes reached new heights, while in Baltimore, new heroes flirted with 400. Head-to-head after the break, the Yankees showed their mettle. A 4-game sweep in Baltimore put the O's way back, as in 10 back, eventually 12 back. The Birds' feathers were tarred. There would be no stopping the New York Express. The Yankees kept adding, but their AL East lead started to subtract. This team for all seasons was wilting in the August heat. The intangibles missing. The pitching, a question. The lead, in doubt. While Baltimore came back with a vengeance. Long ball was their game, up and down the lineup. No team has ever hit more home runs. And when an old friend returned to fuel the fire and stoke baseball history, the AL East was a race again. The lead is 3. This is the lead game of a 3-game series in the house that Ruth built. Welcome then to the Ball Yard in the Bronx for the lid lifter of the pivotal 3-game series between the Baltimore Orioles and the New York Yankees. A quick glance at the standings tells you all you need to know. The Yanks by 3 over the Orioles with a week and a half left. And hello once again, everybody. With me as always on Wednesday Night Baseball is Buck Martinez, and this is the reason you follow baseball all year long. They played, Buck, 149 games, but game 150, 151, and 152 will determine who goes on and who perhaps does not in postseason baseball, the Orioles and the Yankees. Who's the pressure on tonight, the leader, the Yankees, or the trailer, the Orioles?
Chris, I think it's definitely on the Orioles. As much momentum as they have built up with this hot streak to get back in the race, that all goes by the wayside if they lose tonight and fall 4 back. The Yankees have really been tough on Baltimore all year long, winning 8 of the 10 ball games. So to me, they've got the win here tonight.
The Yankees have some big-name pitchers that won Cy Young Awards and All-Stars, certainly like David Cohn and Dwight Gooden and Jimmy Key and Kenny Rogers, but nobody has stood taller than the quiet lefty we're going to see tonight, Andy Pettitte.
Well, he's been great all year long. You know, Andy Pettitte is going to make his 4th start against Baltimore here tonight. He has 21 wins, but he has been at both ends of the spectrum against Baltimore. In Baltimore, he lasted just 1 inning and gave up 8 earned runs against the Orioles. But here in Yankee Stadium, he pitched a 3-hitter over 7 innings. Andy Pettitte worked out on Monday and got good news about his sinker ball. It's back, and he's really pumped up about this start.
Well, just to add to the merriment, a little bit of a Rod Serling background. Not the rain that we had last night. They pulled the tarp off the field, some scattered showers. It's brisk, it's chilly, everything you want in a key September.
Hi, everybody. Steve Levy in our Wednesday night Major League Baseball doubleheader studios. We'll get you back to the Bronx for the Orioles and the Yankees. Finally going to start that series, that crucial series, most important series probably in the American League to this point in the season. We'll keep an eye on everything else going on in the big leagues for you, including Boston and Detroit. The Red Sox enter tonight's action 5.5 out the wild card. But here's the good news. They're playing the Tigers as they've beaten 10 of 11 this season, outscoring Detroit 90-38. Hoping to keep that going tonight at Tiger Stadium. Top of the first, they had a chance. Runners in scoring position. And 2 down. It's Jose Canseco grounded out to end that threat. They are scoreless, as you see, as they play the top of the second. One final from this afternoon. A 2-1 final. Milwaukee over Toronto in that one. Turner Ward, 9th inning RBI as a pinch hitter to win that game. Texas and Seattle, that will be the late game of our Wednesday night doubleheader. The Rangers leading the Mariners by 4 games. Also, that's a very important game. Nationally, plenty of afternoon action as you see today. The key scores, San Diego beating San Francisco and Colorado beating Los Angeles. So the Dodgers just have a half-game lead now in the West over the Padres. Again, we'll keep you posted of everything else back here in the studio. But now to the big one, the Orioles and Yanks. That's Boom and Buck, guys.
All right, Steve, thank you. And we look forward to you keeping us abreast of all the action around the majors, although there's some major league action right here in Yankee Stadium. And just hearing the big ovation for the national anthem and, of course, the dulcet tones of Bob Shepard over the public address, you know this is a big game. Davey Johnson and the Baltimore Orioles have stared a 12-game deficit in the face and have come roaring back. And this is Davey's lineup tonight here for game 1 of this 3-game set. Brady Anderson, 46 home runs in the leadoff spot. Well, not all of them were hit as leadoff, but he can hit to 50, and he bats primarily leadoff. Amazing. Roberto, remember the Alomar at second base. Todd, good housekeeping zeal, having coming over from the Phils, is at third. Rafael Emerson, Lake, and Palmero is at first base. Bobby Bonilla in right field. Cal Ripken at short. Eddie Eat, Drink, and Be Murray batting seventh at DH. B.J. Surhoff playing left field these days, batting eighth. Mark Parent, he's the caddy lately for Scotty Erickson. That's the lineup that left-hander Andy Pettitte will try to go against and win game number 22.
Andy Pettitte has put together a great season here. This will be his 33rd game of the season. He's 21-8 with a very good ERA. Hits are up a little bit, but that's not bad because he's got good control, you see. He doesn't walk many batters. Andy Pettitte is making his fourth start against the Baltimore Orioles. He is 3-0 on the season, and he actually worked in relief down in Baltimore way back in April. In his last start on Friday in Toronto, he threw a pitch to Tomas Perez, and Perez rips it right back at Pettitte and hits him on the kneecap. They were very concerned, obviously, as he goes down in a heap, but he rebounded from that, threw 7 2/3 of 7-hit ball, and he is on the mound again tonight, showing no ill effects of that line drive off his knee.
We're underway as Brady Anderson swings at the first pitch. It's back. Wow, it's just foul. He didn't even get us a chance to tell you that the Orioles are first pitch swinging ball club, looking fastball, looking for anything over the plate.
Brady Anderson sits on dead red, and he gets a fastball from Andy Pettitte and just hooks it foul. It goes all the way into the upper deck here, but it's foul deep into the seats. Brady Anderson was looking fastball and got it.
That's something we will watch tonight, Buck, as that pitch misses low and away. The way the Orioles, and obviously, well, here's one thing we can tell you, that to lead off a game, one more home run will tie him for the Major League record, with most in a season done by Bobby Bonds, 11. He already passed Ricky Henderson, who had the American League record at 9. 46 home runs. Only Frank Robinson, wearing an Oriole uniform, has had more with 49. Broken bat. This will drop in there and drop like an L wedge, and Anderson hustles in for a double. So tonight, when you watch the game, know that the outfield grass is saturated. Any ball that drops there may stop like a pro golfer dropping one on the green, and that's what we saw right there.
Well, Tim Raines was coming over trying to make a play on this flare into lump center. Brady Anderson breaks his bat right off the end of the bat. Now watch Raines. The ball stops, but he takes his eye off the ball, and then he can't come up with it. Brady Anderson, hustling all the while, comes into second base with a leadoff double. Boy, if you're a base runner tonight, you have to be aggressive, because there are going to be some tough plays for the outfielders here.
Every ball that's thrown, particularly from the outfield, as Roberto Alomar steps up, could be an adventure. Alomar drops one down, bogs in on it, over to Tino Martinez. Anderson to third, one out. So for all the talk that this is a home run hitting club, and let's face it, no team has ever hit more than these Orioles, who now have 243, breaking the 61 Yankees mark of 240. But yes, little things in big games can spell the difference. Alomar dropped it down.
Now that's how you win pennants. Bobby Alomar, trying to take advantage of the leadoff double by Anderson, now has set the table for Todd Zeile.
Todd Zeile has hit 5 home runs since coming over from the Philadelphia Phillies. Home runs before that. Zeile has allowed Surhoff to go to left field. It's kind of part of the final pieces of the puzzle for this Orioles squad. Strike ball, says Ken Kaiser behind the plate. Darryl Cousins working at first. Tim Wilkie at second. Joe Brinkman, the crew chief. And everybody saw Joe last night trudging around the field in his galoshes. He's working at third. There's Joe Brinkman, who I think made every sports show in the last 24 hours.
Well, the last time you have a series between two ball clubs, the umpires have control of whether or not the game is to be played, and Joe Brinkman took a lot of static here in New York because they tried to play.
A little chopper to the right side, but that'll get the run home. Dunk into Martinez, but Anderson scores, and the Orioles are on the board. Little things again, Buck.
Execution, that's how you win championships, as I mentioned. And Todd Zeile is a pretty good pull hitter, but this time he had an opportunity to drive home the run with a ground ball. He grounds out to second base to chase home Brady Anderson.
So that'll bring up Rafael Palmeiro. He of the 36 home runs and 134 RBI. Rafi did hit some home runs in his years in Texas. But boy, that Camden Yards porch certainly agrees with him.
Brady Anderson talks a lot about consistency.
Fly ball to left, a long run for Timmy Raines. Slogging through, and he had some trouble in the mud. Fly balls and grounders to the outfield will be an adventure. The Orioles do scratch one off Andy Pettitte. We'll be back. Back at Yankee Stadium, Joe Torre and the Yankees already looking up at a 1-0 deficit. And he, of course, has been watching the Orioles closely. At least tonight, they don't have to play scoreboard baseball with the Orioles, Buck. The Orioles are right there in front of him. And here's the lineup that he hopes can at least take 2 or 3 to stop this Oriole charge. Wade Boggs, the starter at third tonight. Leading off, Timmy Raines in 2 3-run home runs, and the Yankees win Monday at Toronto. He's in left. Paul O'Neill is in right field. Cecil Fielder at the DH. Tino Martinez at first base. Bernie Williams, always a strong finisher, is in center field. Mariano Duncan is at second base. Jim Frito Leyritz is the catcher of choice for Andy Pettitte, so he hits 8th. Derek Jeter could be Rookie of the Year in the American League, hits 9th against the right-hander and one-time 20-game winner with the Minnesota Twins. 12 and 11, Scott Erickson.
Well, Scott Erickson could be in a pretty good situation tonight, considering the wet surface here at Yankee Stadium. He's a sinker ball pitcher. There's a lot of ground balls, and they'll really be slowed up on this wet infield. He has won 4 straight, and he is working with a new catcher, Mark Parent, and they have really become a very effective battery.
Wade Boggs hitting at 310 and in there for a strike, and that one cut. Boggsy saw action for the first time in a little while Monday in that win at Toronto, the 4th game of that wraparound 4-game series. Saw a chiropractor up there. He had real pains in his lower back. He couldn't even move. He said everything is fine now. And he's out there. He'll play 2 of the 3 games in this series. He'll sit against David Wells tomorrow in one of the doubleheader games. Ground ball. Ripken. Long throw in time. Boggs is gone. 1 out.
Well, Cal Ripken gets the first play of the ball game. Let's take a look at the rest of the Orioles defensively. B.J. Surhoff is now in left field. He's freed up with the acquisition of Todd Zeile, who has been very good and should be outstanding on grass surfaces here. Ripken at short, Alomar up the middle. Great double play combination. Slick fielding. Rafael Palmeiro's at first base. And as I mentioned, Mark Parent has teamed up to make a pretty good combination with Scott Erickson.
Went out. Tim Purple Rains, although yesterday it was certainly Tim Torrential Rains. Did it rain hard here in the New York area? That one, be careful down the left field side. But Timmy only has 5 home runs, and he hit the 2, as we mentioned, in Toronto. But he, too, like many of the Yankees, coming back from injury. It rained so hard here in the New York area the last, really, 36 hours. It was pouring this afternoon as well. And just keep that in mind as you watch this game. Oh, you can cover the infield. There will be some water on the ball that the infielders have to, when in doubt, throw it lower than higher. But balls to the outfield tonight, Skip will stop with a thud, and throws from the outfield, Buck, could be an adventure. So fans at home, just keep in mind, not your normal dry turf. Little chopper Rains has wheels. It's going to be big-time trouble. Forget it. Safe. A little 15-foot single, and the Yankees are in business.
Now, that's what speed will do for you right there. It really puts pressure on the defense. Erickson came off the mound to make a play on that swinging bunt off the bat of Tim Raines. But watch the catcher, Mark Parent. He comes out, and then he hesitates. He had mind to go after it, and then the hesitation cost him. I don't know that anybody was going to get Tim Raines on that. That was like a perfect drag bunt.
Plus, the players have to be a little bit uncertain about their footing, even in the infield, Buck. I know when the ball's hit, you're going to go for it. But don't they have to think twice about the way they move towards the ball?
No, you really don't. You just have to play it as if it were a dry surface and suffer the consequences if you lose your footing.
Jimmy Raines, of course, as Paul O'Neill looks at ball one. Raines, number 5 all-time stolen bases. Behind all the names you know. Anderson, Lou Brock, Ty Cobb, and maybe one name you don't know. One of our favorites, sliding Billy Hamilton. Raines is 9 for 9 this year stolen bases. But one of the reasons the Yankees got off to the big lead is the way they played little baseball, National League baseball, if you want to call it that, Buck. Certainly the ball that Joe Torre played when he was a National Leaguer for so many years and managed. It's his first year after all these years of the American League. So people felt that maybe the Yankees got a little bit away from it when they got to Strawberry. But they're getting back to it right now, having gone 6-1 in that road trip.
Well, they sat back and waited for the big home runs, and that's when they caused them to be a little bit complacent. Now they're starting to play with a lot more aggressiveness. Tim Raines back healthy helps a lot. Looks like he's having fun, too.
Yep. 2-0 pitch to O'Neill. Chop past Alomar into center field. Raines will head to third. And with one out, the Yankees have runners on the corners.
This looks like it could be a back-at-you kind of game here tonight. Tim Raines at first base. It's a sinking fastball. That's what O'Neill gets, and he gets on top of it and drives it up the middle. Alomar was shaded a step to pull. Tim Raines sees the play in front of him, turns second, and easily goes into third base.
That'll bring up the big fella. One of 13 players in the history of Major League Baseball to hit 50 home runs in a season. Cecil Fielder, acquired just before midnight, July 31st from Detroit. Fastball inside, ball one to Cecil. And you may remember that when he hit home run number 50 that year in 1990 was right here in Yankee Stadium. Had 2 at 50 and 51 that day, that evening. Oh, he was thinking for the downs, but Scotty had the ball sinking.
Boy, let me tell you something. Scott Erickson brought his A game to the dance tonight. He's throwing about 94 miles an hour with great movement. Watch the movement on this sinking fastball. That thing has late movement as it gets into the strike zone and really ties up Big Daddy. He has been on a roll. His last 9 starts, he's 7-1. He's won 4 straight with Mark Parrott catching him. The ERA finally under 5.
Oh, he hit the outside corner. Cecil didn't like the call from Kenny Kaiser, but Erickson ahead. 1-2.
When he's got this kind of movement, boy, it's so difficult. That ball appears to be outside, but the movement brings it back over the outside corner.
Cecil went fishing, but Erickson dropped the bottom out of that one. Fielder will sit down, and there's 2 outs.
Watch the bottom fall out of this pitch. That's another sinking fastball, and you can see it almost hits the dirt by the time Mark Parrott catches it. Boy, that's a tough pitch.
Now, when he's on, as you pointed out, Buck, he's very difficult, and especially on a night like this with fielding conditions like this, he's really effective. Tino Martinez. 2 outs. And Erickson will keep an eye on the back runner, Paul O'Neill. Boy, it took Tino a few weeks to get going here in the Yankee pinstripes, but once again, he's over that 100 RBI mark, and that was the guy that they thought they were getting from Seattle. Yankee fans were on him. He had a big 3-run homer in a game we did in April against Cleveland, and they were with him ever since.
Well, the big thing about Tino is his personality. He's a pretty low-key guy, and although he kind of stewed inside when he got off to a slow start, he was confident in his ability, and his bat came around, and the hit started to fall for him.
Alomar, beautiful play in the flip to Ripken to get O'Neill, and the Orioles are out of the inning. So a little bit of defense for Baltimore. They settle up cozy up to the TV. I think we've got a good one brewing.
The Yankees were threatening in their half of the first. First and third with 2 outs. Tino Martinez at the plate. Scott Erickson throws another sinker ball. And look at Robbie Alomar going to his right and then tosses it under his glove to Cal Ripken for the force out on Paul O'Neill to shut down a Yankee threat.
Well, in this Orioles surge, Buck, Robbie has not been hitting the way he did certainly early in the year when he was at .410 on June 9th. But he sacrificed, and he made the play defensively. So Robbie Alomar can do so much more than just hit for average, as we've seen time and time again. Here's a guy that's done tons. Bobby Bonilla, RBIs at 114. That's the top 10 rank in the American League. Hitting about 100 points higher when he plays in the field than when he DHs. And he's going to hear about it all night long. Of course, he grew up not far from this ballpark, rooting for the Yankees as a kid. But fans, when he went out to take his position in right field in the bottom of the first puck, heard he gave him, well, shall we call it a Bronx cheer?
Yeah, that's exactly what it was. They were all over.
I mean, to be specific, Bonilla, who's now ahead in the count against Pettit, 2-1. 330 playing in the field, 221 is a DH. That one was nasty by Pettit. The count is 2-2.
Well, they got a piece of that cutter. This whole ball club has really been on fire. It's been the bats that have gotten them back into the pennant race, and Bobby Bonilla is right in the middle of it. 317 average with 16 home runs and 47 ribbies.
I'm going to give you another number here, Buck, that's interesting about the Yankees. The fact that they are behind now to the Orioles 1-0 as we hit the second inning is nothing new. They've been outscored in the first inning, 113-73. And I bring that up because that's very odd for a team that's in first place, outscored by 40 runs.
Well, it went through a stretch of about 3 weeks where the starters were falling behind big time in the first inning.
That'll go as a strikeout, 2-3, and Bonilla is gone.
Well, we talk about a first-place club, and you think about pitching and defense, and the Yankees have both. Defensively, they've got good speed in the outfield with Raines, Williams, and Paul O'Neill. On the infield, Derek Jeter has been marvelous as a young player in a key position on this team. And the defense up the middle with Jeter and Bernie Williams has been just exactly what you expect from a championship-caliber ball club.
Well, there's Bernie, but you're talking about Derek Jeter, and certainly nobody appreciates the work of the young shortstop more than this man, Cal Ripken. And you keep adding up the numbers. 2,303 consecutive games if you're scoring at home. We keep you posted with scores around the league, both leagues. Ball inside, chopped foul by Cal, 1-1.
You know, this lineup is very similar to what the Cleveland Indians lineup looked like last year when you think about left to right, power, up and down, 1 through 9. There's that big breaking ball that just missed inside. Generally, when you face a ball club, there are a few spots in the lineup where you can take a breather. Figure that you make a good pitch and you got a chance to get the guy out. There are no soft spots in this Oriole lineup.
Well, you talk about power. If you add the home runs that Zeal has hit in Philadelphia, and instead of Parent, you put Boyles in the lineup, everybody, all 9 batters, have hit 20 home runs or more. Wow. Count is full to Cal. 1-0 Baltimore. Top of the second in New York. Rip.
That's what makes Andy Pettit so tough right there, is he throws that breaking ball in on your hands, and you can't do much with it other than pull it foul. You see Larrett's, the catcher, is set up on the inside corner, and there's that cut fastball. Ripken gets to it, but he can only pull it foul. And then he has a funky swing in an outside fastball. Pettit can really work both sides of the plate, and that's what makes pitchers tough, where you can't really sit on one side or the other.
Well, Andy is mature way beyond his years, which are just 24.
Now see, there's another inside breaking pitch that all Ripken can do is hit a bullet into the seats. Once again, they're trying to work the inside corner. He drops that breaking ball, and you see Ripken gets out in front of it and hits it on the barrel of the bat, but it's foul.
That one just missed a little low and outside, and the Orioles have a base runner with one out. It's like Yogi said, deja vu all over again when you have Cal Ripken up and then you bring Eddie Murray up.
Now, it used to be 3 and 4 in the early 80s. Ripken hit third, Murray hit fourth, and that was the ultimate insurance policy protection for Cal Ripken. When you look behind you and you got a great switch hitter like Eddie Murray.
Eddie Murray, of course, with 500 lifetime home runs. Eddie Murray, Willie Mays, Hank Aaron. Only 3. 500 homers and 3,000 hits. This one bounds away. Ripken down to second base. On a strike. That was a bizarre play.
It's a wild pitch. Watch Eddie Murray swing at this first pitch. He's guessing fastball. The ball hits off of Leritz's glove and then hits his shin guard. That's what sends it so far down the first base line, and on the play, Ripken goes to second. That's a ball that Leritz really has to smother.
That one dropped down a little bit on Eddie. Didn't pick that one up, and Pettit is ahead 0-2. We told you here the actual numbers for Aaron, Mays, and Murray. I don't know, whatever way you add it, doesn't get much more impressive than that. Membership very exclusive. Ripped foul.
See, what Pettit's got to do now is drop that sinking fastball down and away. He's got all these Oriole hitters thinking about the inner part of the plate, and they're getting to that breaking pitch, but now he has to work to the outside of it, trying to get those easy ground balls to the second baseman. Went back door with a breaking ball there. That's one thing Jim Leritz really likes to do. He likes to throw the breaking ball to both sides of the plate. When you're facing a left-hander as a right-handed batter, sometimes you see that big breaking ball so far away from you, you don't expect it to catch the outside corner. I think right now they've gotten a little breaking ball happy. Pettit's got a little better velocity than they're giving him credit for, and he could bust Murray inside with a good fastball now. He has had Murray thinking down, down, down all throughout the attack.
Gets him swinging. Pair of strikeouts here in the second inning. B.J. Surhoff coming up. The first here, Steve Levy.
All right, Chris, thanks. The Expos a game and a half out of the wild card spot, hosting the other New York team, the Mets. Mark Grudzielanek already had a run scored, singles in F.P. Santangelo. The Expos score in each of the first 2 innings. We'll see how they do in their half of the third. Chris and Buck.
All right, Steve, so the Expos gruzz their way ahead of the Mets. He's a good-looking player, that Grudzielanek. So many good young shortstops. Obviously, Jeter here and Grudzielanek. I mean, there's half dozen, not to mention the kid that may win the MVP. Certainly the batting title, Alex Rodriguez. B.J. Surhoff looking at strike one. Of course, Rodriguez and the Mariners, well, they make it dramatic, don't they? They'll be in the second half of our double dip at home against the Texas Rangers for game 3 of that 4-game set. First 2 going to Seattle. If they win the next 2, they could cut it to 2. Halftime Pettit outside. Pettit and Leyritz really do have a good communication. Leyritz says he'll shake him off once or maybe twice a game. That's it. Is that an unusual low number?
No, not really. When you work as often as they do together, you really get into one another's head. So you can see what kind of stuff Pettit has on a particular night and make judgments as to what pitch he wants to throw. All you're trying to do is make your pitcher confident that that's the right pitch to throw at that particular time.
Leyritz setting up inside that time, and that's where the pitch was. Chopped foul.
Chris, we talked about the depth of this lineup, and B.J. Surhoff batting 8 right here really exemplifies that. B.J. hitting .294 with 20 homers and 80 ribbies is a very good hitter that's had a lot of success against Andy Pettit.
Yeah, you can tell it's a big game when they're on their feet looking for a strikeout here in the top of the second inning. Foul. That one had hair on it.
Now, so far, Pettit's done a pretty good job of keeping all the line drives in the seats. In foul territory, not beyond the fences. He's done a real good job of changing speeds on his breaking ball. Watch Surhoff. See how he's out on that front foot, and all he can do, like Ripken and Murray before him, is pull it foul into the seats.
Strike 3. Pettit strikes out the side. Ripken stranded at second base. Will move to the bottom of the second inning. The fans already on their feet. The Orioles 1, the Yankees nothing. Back at Yankee Stadium, Chris Berman along with Buck Martinez. And on the first half of our Wednesday night baseball double-dip, Orioles lead the Yankees 1-0. And Orioles-Yankees, a great rivalry, and very few on this level. The Red Sox and Yankees. The final 2 weekends of the season, the Red Sox, well, they may not get into themselves, but they certainly could determine the Yankees' fate. Yankee Stadium, 8 Eastern, 6 Mountain, 5 West Coast, 2 in Hawaii. The Red Sox and Yankees on our Sunday night game of the week. Try to get all my friends in there, you know. Not that I don't have any friends in the Central Time Zone. Can't squeeze them all in all the time. Could be Andy Pettit in that game, depending on how he comes out of this one. Bernie Williams at the first pitch. Pass Cal Ripken into center field. 1 pitch, 1 hit for the Yankees here in the bottom of inning number 2.
Well, 2-4. Erickson's thrown a lot of ground balls. So far, a couple of them have found their way into the outfield. Bernie Williams expects to get a first pitch fastball. It's a nasty sinker again, but he pounds it off the third into center field. And he is watching. He's an outfielder, so he takes a big turn to see if there's a misplay out there by Brady Anderson.
Bernie with 15 stolen bases. He's been caught 3 times. On this club, the 15 stolen bases leads. Little chopper by Duncan. Ripken to Alomar. The quick turn to Palmeiro. Oh, man, what a double play.
Well, we talked about this great double play combination, and Cal Ripken said, you know what, I've never enjoyed playing shortstop with a second baseman as much as I have playing with Robbie Alomar. Alomar and Ripken are very similar in that they really study the game. They are both very good students of the game. Now watch Alomar's back. When he gets the ball from Ripken, his back is facing the base runner. He just turns and fires instinctively and throws a strike to first base to get Duncan for the DP.
So 2 pitches, 2 outs now. 2 pitches, a base hit, and 2 outs. And finally, one we can breathe on. Ball 1 to Jim Frito Leyritz. Personable backup catcher to Joe Girardi here in New York. Breaking ball on the outside corner, 1-1. Both Erickson and Pettit working quickly tonight, and you young pitchers, please take note.
Well, Chris, what it does is when you work quickly and throw a lot of strikes, it keeps your defense on their toes. They always expect the ball to be put in play. Then you get good defense behind it.
Reaches out, little chopper, Ripken, quick toss in time to get Leyritz. So the bouncing ball's gobbled up by the middle of the Orioles infield. 1-0 Baltimore. Back at Yankee Stadium. Yes, the weather a little bit frightful still. Temperature in the mid-50s by the time we get done with it. A little brisk wind out. Looks like it's going right to left. Scattered showers in the area. Boy, they were hearty here last night. And no, we're not going to get 50,000. But we do have a very good weekday crowd. And if you look at the right center field bleachers, eventually you'll see that's filled up pretty well. And there's nothing like a big game in September in the northeast, there's the bleachers we're talking about, the northeast ballparks, the Yankee Stadium, the Fenway. Yes, at Camden Yards, some Philly if they were in it. It's a throaty, it's a, well, I don't want to say blood-curdling yell, but it's a, shall we say, Buck, a different sort of crowd than we might see enthusiastic at a Kingdome, for example, which is a great crowd. Or Colorado, where we were last week, which was tremendous. This is a little bit different. It's a crowd that's been to these big games before.
They're not afraid to show their emotions and root for their home team.
Mark Parent, who, as you pointed out, has caught Scott Erickson with so much success the last few times out, has been around with Detroit earlier this year, with both the Cubs and the Pirates last year. Cubs before that, has been with Baltimore in 92 and 93. We really got to know him in his years with San Diego. And he came up in the late 80s, and there you go.
He has really done a lot to stabilize his pitching staff. He has always been basically kind of a backup catcher, but a guy that really pays attention to calling a game. He had quite a memorable at-bat in Detroit when he hit the home run and broke the all-time home run record for the Orioles. 243rd team home run in that 5-home run ball game at Tiger Stadium.
Yeah, of all people to hit it. You know, they got 9 guys with 20 home runs, or at least total this year. There it is, and fittingly, here they are. The team that has hit the most home runs in the house that Ruth built, breaking the mark set by the 61 Yankees right here. So the number 9 batter, Mark Parent, really the only batter in the Oriole lineup tonight, not a big threat, draws a base on ball. So here's Pettit, Buck, who struck out the side in the second, maybe losing concentration a little bit.
Well, Mel Stottlemyre has really done a good job with Pettit here, getting to know him in Stottlemyre's first season as a pitching coach. Of course, he did so much with Doc Gooden early in the year when they lost David Cohn to get Gooden on the right track. There's Doc, who is scheduled to start on Friday. Missed his last start. There's Brady Anderson again looking for a first pitch fastball. We started to talk about his home run numbers, 46 on the season. And he said, you know, it's just a result of consistency. I watched Rafael Palmeira go up there with a fluid, smooth swing all the time, never really trying to hit home runs and just get good at bats. And I've done that myself this year.
Well, we pointed out that Edwin missed 1-1. Brady with 46 home runs. It ties the second most by any player in an Oriole uniform. Frank Robinson at 49 and the Triple Crown season at 66. It's not Boog Powell. It's Jim Gentile, who hit 46 back in 1961. This one will be a tough run for Raines and Jeter. And Raines is there. That hung up a little longer than originally it looked. And so Brady is retired. There's one out. Parent back to first. That's right, Jimmy. One out. Before we forget Jim Gentile, you know the answer to that trivia question. What record does Jim Gentile hold? And I don't think it was done in 61, although it might have been.
Grand slams?
2 grand slams in 1 inning.
Yep.
That's pretty good. He's pretty good. Roberto, remember the Alomar. Sacrificed Anderson to third when he scored the run on the next batter, Todd Steele in first. He looked marvelous in the field, made a couple of plays, won a force that ended the Yankees first. And turn a double play. Last. June, he was hitting .410. Then he realized he'd go 2 for 5 and his average would drop. What?
It puts in perspective what it is to hit 400. A good play by Leritz there. That time he got down and blocked the ball, played it off his chest protector. Earlier in the game with Cal Ripken at first base, he kind of gloved it. It went off the heel of his glove and hit his shin guard. This time you can see he's thinking about nothing other than blocking the ball. Drops to that one knee and plays it off his chest protector.
There's 2-2 to Alomar. And already the pitch is courtesy of the second inning up a little bit for Andy.
Now, he threw 109 last time out in Toronto in 7 2/3, but the pitch count becomes very important because he has to start on 3 days rest on Sunday.
He gets Alomar swinging. Strikeout number 4. Never striking out, Steve Levy.
All right, Chris, as you know, the Indians already clinched, going with their 9th stringers tonight in Chicago. The White Sox trail the Orioles by 3.5 for the wild card, thanks to Geronimo Peña's home run. They also trail the Indians 2-0. Chris and Buck.
All right, Steve, so yeah, you know what that's like the day after you clinch a pennant, Buck. An Advil special.
For sure. Wow. Andy Pettitte, always a threat to pick base runners off, even when it's not a base stealer. Tino Martinez was playing behind Mark Parent at first base, and then he broke in. They had put on a pickoff play, and they almost got the big catcher.
Zeal drove in the only run of the game with a ground out to second base in the first inning. So very quickly we saw the White Sox, folks, you know, they've fallen behind the Mariners as the team chasing the Orioles in the wild card chase. And as hot as the Mariners are, I don't want to say the Yankees are looking back, because they are not. And that's something we can develop. They're definitely thinking of the division. But the Yankees essentially have a 6-game lead over Seattle, is what I'm trying to say. Even if they had trouble in this particular series.
A 6-game lead for the playoffs.
That 6-game lead for the playoffs. But if the Orioles have trouble in here, and Seattle continues against Texas, well, that now becomes the team. We're going to forget about them for a little while. California learned last year, do not forget about them. Fly ball to right field. Long run for O'Neill, but he's there, and Zeal is retired. So after a leadoff walk to Mark Parent, Pettitte settles down to retire the Orioles. 1-0 Baltimore.
Steve Levy back in our Wednesday Night Baseball studios. Boston trying to stay alive. They're 5.5 out of the wild card in Tiggertown tonight. And Rudy Pemberton drops one into right field. Melvin Nieves with the throw. Gets away. John Valentin scored, and on the era, Mike Greenwell would score as well. So it's 3-0 Boston. Let's go back to the Bronx.
Boy, that Rudy Pemberton is tough to get out, isn't he?
He's coming up making a contribution here in September.
Hey, speaking of a contribution, well, of course, Eddie has given a contribution for 20 years. But this young man at the plate, we fell in love with him really as a ball player. We did that game in late April. Talking about Derek Jeter. We talked about that catch that he made over the shoulder in the 8th inning. He made about 4 or 5 of those catches this year. He's really enjoying this whole pennant thing.
He made a catch like that Monday night, preserving Jimmy Key's perfect game at the time. Key pitched 5 2/3 of a perfect game, and Jeter made an over-the-shoulder catch in shallow left center.
Possibly Rookie of the Year in the American League. Erickson works him outside. Hit the corner, says Kenny Kaiser. It looks like he's given the outside corner tonight to both pitchers. Been consistent in a bigger strike zone than we see on some nights, which actually is refreshing. 2-1 pitch to Jeter. Chopper. Foul ball. I remember that night we walked out, and I think we were with Bob Watson walking out of the stadium. And it was kind of a wild game, and they really could, except for that bomb that Tomey hit. And wasn't a lot to sink your teeth into. And I said, well, what'd you learn tonight? And he said, well, Bob, you know what I learned? You've got a shortstop. His whole attitude is just tremendous. Again, like Andy Pettitte, wise beyond his years. Meanwhile, Scotty Erickson, he's a guy that came up at a young age and immediately impressed. That year that the Twins went to the World Series and won it in '91, he was a 20-game winner for that staff.
I think Scotty Erickson's another one of these pitchers in the American League that would really gain from hitting. I think he would get a new appreciation for how tough it is to hit. He's got a 94-mile-an-hour sinker ball, and I think sometimes he gives the hitters too much credit. Tries to be a little too fine.
Alomar to Palmeiro, and Jeter is out. One out here in the third.
When you've got a defense like the Orioles, you want to put the ball in play. You can see the Yankees are really having a tough time getting Erickson's sinker ball airborne. All they can do is beat it into the ground.
Now that 91 season for Erickson, we're talking about 20-8. Second in the Cy Young balloting to Roger Clemens that year. As he faces one of the best hitters of all time in baseball, Wade Boggs. Erickson, of course, authored a no-hitter in '94 against Milwaukee. Still with the Twins. He never really has come close to duplicating that form. The year after his 28, he was 13-12, and 8-19, and 8-11 in his no-hit season. Last year, a combined, well, he was 9-4 with Baltimore after coming over, so he was 13-10. This year, 12-11. The upper deck, and certainly some fans up in the nosebleeds tonight. Count is 2-1 to Boggs. Grounded it short. Leading off the first. And there's a strike for Cup. Boy, that Boggs, isn't that up a little outside?
Well, that's something that Boggs hasn't seen an awful lot from Erickson, is that four-seam fastball. He paints the outside corner. You can see there was no sinking action on that ball at all. Erickson used that pitch very effectively his last time out against the Tigers. Again with the four-seamer, James Boggs.
Scotty grew up in the Bay Area. High school at Cupertino, California. San Jose City College. He's actually born in Long Beach, but he's Bay Area born and bred. Rooting for the Giants as a kid. Right up the middle. Ripken won't get it. Boggs is aboard. The Yankees now with the 4 base hits, but none of them really ringing.
All ground ball base hits through the infield. Swinging bunt by Raines in the first inning. Scotty Erickson's the kind of pitcher that even though you might get a base hit against him, you kind of get the first base shaking your head and say, man, is he tough.
So with one out, that'll bring up Tim Raines. Zeal on the grass at third. One thing about the Yankees, yes, their stolen base, their running is up this year, but it's not so much running to steal bases. We told you that Bernie Williams at 15 leads the squad, but they are, as Joe Torre has stressed all year, a great bunch of professional hitters, and by that he means they can hit and run, and he can, especially with 2 strikes, where a lot of managers would not take off the hit and run there. And those are the sort of things that got the Yankees to where they were with that 12-game lead.
Yeah, that's how they built up that big lead, because Joe Torre was confident that if he sent Wade Boggs, even though Boggs doesn't run well, Tim Raines could put the ball in play and find a hole. Then they'd play first and third for the 3, 4, and 5 hitters.
chopper to Alomar to Ripken, and that's all they will get. Range of speed. There was a slow bouncer anyway, so they get the lead runner. They're 2 down. Through July 28th, the high water mark of the Yankees was this 12-game lead. At that point, the Baltimore Orioles were playing below 500 baseball. The Yankees were 23 above. But the difference, the Yankees 2 under since that time, and the Orioles 31 and 15. So a 12-game lead was sliced to 3. There are many reasons for that. Why the turnaround of both teams. The Yankees certainly feeling a lot better about themselves this week following that road swing than they were maybe 7 or 9 days ago, when they just had the feeling that Baltimore just wasn't going to lose anymore.
At that point, you just have to stop worrying about Baltimore and make sure that you win.
What a jump by Raines, but hit right to Zeal does O'Neill. It rhymes. That was unintentional, but Zeal makes the throw. And O'Neill is gone. So we have played 3 in the Bronx. 1-0 3, 1-0 Orioles. And how about a gridiron duel? Our college football Thursday night edition. 8 o'clock from Raleigh, North Carolina. The Seminoles of Florida State against the Wolfpack of North Carolina State. Of course, our weekend kickoff show begins at 7:30. Game time is at 8 Eastern, 6 Mountain Time, here on ESPN. Chris Berman along with Buck Martinez. And swing at the first pitch as the Orioles are wont to do. Rafael Palmeiro fouls out to Jim Leyritz. So again, their first pitch hitting squad. And you want to kind of foul them up a little bit. It looks like Leyritz and Pettit did that to Palmeiro.
It looked like he got a fastball, but it was inside. May have actually been a changeup because he was out in front. You could see the frustration. Palmeiro pops up on the first pitch. Leyritz made the play, kind of surrounded it a bit, but he made the catch. 1 out on 1 pitch here.
Now the boos you hear, not all over, but the former New York Met, among others, Bobby Bonilla. And Bonilla swings at the first pitch. You know, before we go on, you think of Bonilla and those good teams at Pittsburgh. Hey, good luck to our friend and one of the classiest people in the game, Jimmy Leland. It'll be a very emotional decision for Jimmy to team he's been with, what, 11 years? Become such a part of the community out there.
Very tough for him to leave. He had a very, very big soft spot in his heart for the Pittsburgh area and what he has done there with that organization.
There's no manager in the game better than Jim Leland, I can tell you that. And so can Bobby Bonilla. He can tell you that too. And Jimmy will not have trouble finding a job when he's ready for it. Good luck to you, my friend. Shop at Boggs. Nice play on a hard shot down the line. 2 out.
Boy, this entire atmosphere really tells you that this is pennant race baseball. Pettit made another good pitch. Look where Boggs is. He's hugging the line at third base and still has to go to the backhand. He makes a nice play on the short hop and retires Bonilla easily. Chris, you mentioned the Northeast fans, and these people are really into this game.
Well, they know their baseball. Not implying that they don't anywhere else, but the anticipation level and the conversation even in the seats are just a little different. It's like watching a hockey game at Maple Leaf Gardens or in Montreal as opposed to watching it in most other places. They're anticipating 2 passes ahead when you go there, and they're anticipating they're just ahead of it here in parks like this at this time of year. And it's 1-1 to Cal Ripken.
We showed you Andy Pettit's last start where he got hit on his left knee by a line drive. He went down immediately, and his initial reaction was, my kneecap's broken. I mean, he was really scared for a moment till he got the feeling back, but he eventually took 7 2/3 against Toronto.
Count remains at 1-2.
Obviously, he's not shown any ill effects of being hit last time out. It was Friday night in Toronto. One thing he has done is he has been able to get over that front leg Use that front leg to serve as kind of a catapult toward the plate. Got the breaking ball over. This is a pretty good guy for Mel Stottlemyre to work with. Andy Pettitte has all the tools, and Stottlemyre has the instruction.
Hit for foul. Out of play down the left field side.
When you look at his pitching staff and you recognize that Andy Pettitte is really the baby of the staff, and here he is trying to win his 22nd game of the season. They've had Jimmy Key on the DL twice. They lost David Cohn for a while. So that's a good pitch. He set up that pitch perfectly and just missed the outside corner. He'd been working Ripken inside with a breaking ball, and then just missed with the fastball to the outside.
Hey, got the breaking ball in that time. Andy Pettitte with 5 strikeouts through 4 innings freezes Cal Ripken. The Yankees trailing 1-0. Back in Yankee Stadium. The Orioles and Scotty Erickson leading the Yankees 1-0, even though the Orioles have only a hit. The leadoff double by Brady Anderson. He came around to score in the first inning, and a ground out by Todd Good Housekeeping season. The big fella, Cecil Fielder, leads off the fourth for the Yankees. 4-5-6. Fielder, Tino Martinez, and Bernie Williams. Cecil struck out in the first inning against Scott Erickson. Swing at the first pitch of chopper. Ripken has time, takes his time, and Cecil is out. 1 pitch, 1 out here in the Yankee fourth. Well, Erickson's given up 4 hits, Buck, but they certainly have been of the ground ball variety.
Well, you can see no walks here in this ball game so far. 39 pitches. He's had good control. And when you throw a lot of strikes, the hitters walk to the plate thinking swing. So they'll go after a lot of borderline pitches and give you some low pitch outs. First and second pitch outs, and that can really save your energy.
Strike on the outside corner to Tino Martinez. Here's a sign that Erickson is on. The double play combination of Alomar and Ripken each have 4 assists already tonight, and we're just in the 4th inning. Erickson has won his last 4 starts. Buck pointed out he was 7-1 since August the 7th. He's 0-2 this year against the Yankees, but in losing 3-2 and 4-1, one of those losses to Andy Pettitte, his ERA against the Yankees is 2.25, so don't get fooled by the 0-2 mark.
Now that is a nasty breaking ball.
Yeah, that was the old 58.5-foot drop.
And Mark Parent took the brunt of that and got a tap on the head from the umpire, Kenny Kaiser. Say, way to keep it off of me, Mark. Good job.
1-2 the count. Fastball up and outside, 2-2.
No matter what kind of season you're having, when you get good pitching, you look like a good ball club.
Fly ball to left field. Back goes Surhoff. Back he goes. Oh, the crowd gave it a rise, but that just carried to the end of to the beginning of the warning track. And there's 2 outs.
That's the first ball that's been hit hard to the outfield. He got that ball up to Tino Martinez, and Tino's got pretty good power the other way. Watch this pitch to Martinez. You can see it's about belt high, and he got all of it. B.J. Surhoff does a good job of tracking this ball. Remember, he's played third base for most of the season, and now he's trying to become comfortable in left.
Surhoff not far from where he grew up in Rye, New York, which in turn is not far from where I grew up, about 10 minutes. Under an hour ride outside of the city, so B.J. I'm certain will have some friends and family in the crowd tonight. 2 outs. Bernie Williams is up. Erickson starts him off with the ball. Williams singled up the middle his first time up, was erased on a double play.
Boy, he's still got real good velocity. And they're doing a good job of mixing in that 4-seam fastball. That's the one that'll stay up. Have another extra mile an hour on the velocity.
off the pitch, but Kaiser said a strike. So it's 1-2. Well, he's giving the outside corners both ways. Consistent.
You can do that when both pitchers are throwing a lot of good pitches. You give them that pitch that may be a couple inches off the plate because both pitchers are around the strike zone. Missed with that breaking ball. Everybody in the ballpark is aware of it. Batters know now that they've got to be ready to swing with both Erickson and Pettit.
Count will remain at 2-2. That one in the upper deck. Working on the mud caulks there. Some extra time in the dryer tonight for all the cleats.
You think Ty Cobb had a guy to clean his spikes off?
He just cleaned him on second baseman's teeth. Strike 3 call. Williams is frozen. A 1-2-3 inning for Scott Erickson. We played 4, 1-0 Baltimore. Back at Yankee Stadium, Andy Pettit facing the Orioles here in the 5th is team behind 1-0. He's allowed only 1 hit, but alas, the Orioles have the run. It is. We start the 5th. Eddie Murray, B.J. Surhoff, and Mark Parent. 7, 8, 9. How fitting was it that Eddie Murray bucked his 500th home run a year to the day in the same park? On September 6, 1995 was Cal's day. September 6, 1996 was Eddie's day to hit the 500 home run club. It's unbelievable.
Who even imagined that they would be teammates again in Baltimore? And then for him to hit his 500th home run on the same night that Cal Ripken broke Lou Gehrig's record a year later. The pupil and the mentor. Cal Ripken oftentimes has talked about what Eddie Murray has meant to him to show him how to play professional baseball. The fact that you go out there every day, your job is to play and perform, and Eddie Murray was a great example for a young Cal Ripken.
Rip, but foul. And all the marks that Eddie has, here's one that maybe you didn't think of. He's tied for the major league lead in most parks homered in 32 different stadiums. He's missed Coors Field and Skydome are the ones now. Fly ball to center. Bernie Williams corrals it, and there's 1 out.
Well, Andy Pettit has allowed just 1 hit to the Orioles tonight. The strikeouts have been very important. He gets Bonilla to chase a breaking ball. Then Eddie Murray swings at a cutter. B.J. Surhoff is number 3. Robbie Alomar goes after another breaking ball, and Cal Ripken is caught looking at a big curveball. Unfortunate thing for Pettit is he's behind a run, 1-0.
B.J. Surhoff swinging at the first pitch again. How many times have you seen the Orioles hack at that first one? Brady almost let off the game with a home run.
Yeah, they don't go into that batter's box half-stepping.
No. No. If you think about it, Buck, as Surhoff looks at strike 2 from Pettit, the Orioles' record now of 82 and 67, about where you thought they would be. I mean, they've kind of taken the polar route in getting there.
They got off to an 11-2 start. It looked like nobody was going to even be close to them. Everything was working so well. They had good pitching early on. The hitting was there. They were playing great defensively. And then they hit the skids. They had a lot of injuries to their bullpen, and that really hurt them.
Now Davey Johnson, in talking to us before the game, much more pleased, although McDowell hurt, much more pleased with his combination out of the bullpen in both Myers and Mills. So the other manager doesn't know if he's going to come in with his lefty or righty closer later. And of course they're getting hammered by left-handed starting like Pettit. As Surhoff hits one to left, and Raines is there. So now with guys like Zeal and Incaviglia, who we haven't seen yet tonight, and Eddie Murray switch hitter, they can deal with left-handers. Let's deal with Steve Levy. Steve?
Chris, thanks. The Red Sox, 5.5 out of the wild card. Weird that they're actually rooting for the Yankees tonight. Roger Clemens mowing down Tigers this evening. He's got 12 strikeouts through 5, so plenty of good pitching this evening in the American League.
12 strikeouts through 5. Folks who thought that the Rocket Man might not have the Jets on anymore, I think have changed their opinion.
Well, the Yankees are keeping their eye on the Red Sox. They play 8 times against one another, and they know how tough Boston's going to play them.
Yeah, but if Clemens goes tonight, then they probably miss. Well, I don't know that. There's a day-night doubleheader here on Sunday. So Friday, Saturday, then day-night on Sunday, and I don't know the plans for Roger in that one.
You know that Roger is the type of guy that'll tap Kevin Kennedy on the shoulder and say, I can go on short rest. Let me work against the Yankees.
Not as one-on-one to parent. Although, if you think about it, Buck, would work, what, Thursday, even with 3 days rest after that. I don't know that would get him another start. Crowd wants to see Perry go down swinging. He goes down looking. 6 strikeouts for Pettit. The Yankees head to the bottom of the 5th. Chris Berman and Buck Martinez not telling you which one of us is him. That's actually Tiny Tim. And the Orioles lead the Yankees 1-0 here at an interesting Yankee Stadium in the bottom of the 5th inning. It'll be a rockin' kingdom after this one. Rangers and Mariners, game 3 of their 4-game set. Boy, 2 teams that can pound the ball. All of a sudden, the Rangers lead is just 4 over the Mariners. Shot inside the line by Mariano Duncan. This should go for a pair, and it will. Into the stands, a ground rule double. So, 1 swing, and the Yankees are the runners in scoring position.
What a player Mariano Duncan has been for this Yankee ball club. First pitch swinging, he rips one by the third baseman. It goes down the left field line. Zeal couldn't get to it. Now watch the fan as he leans over and pulls it out of play. So now let's see what the Yankees can do with a leadoff double here in the 5th.
Mariano Duncan is one of those professional-type players that Joe Torre has talked about all year long. He has T-shirts that he's given out to the club, and a lot of the guys wear them on game days. We play today, we win today, that's it. D-A-S-S-I-T. Jim Leyritz up. Look to lay one down. At the first strike.
Well, here's what the Yankees did so effectively early in the season. Take advantage of that leadoff double. Leyritz has to move Duncan along.
There's a bunt. Erickson looks. Oh, he hesitated. And Zeal tried to catch Duncan napping, but he didn't fight. He had to play if he hurried, but he double clutched. I'm surprised. And now the Yankees with runners at the corners and a mental error by Erickson.
Boy, it sure was. He didn't anticipate a play at third. Leyritz really made a bad bunt. He was right back to the mound. Erickson got it in good shape and then didn't really anticipate he had a play. Watch his reaction. He looks and says, oh, I got a chance. Instead of realizing when that ball was hit so hard, he's got a chance right off the bat. An opportunity to cut down that lead runner goes by the wayside.
So a sacrifice fielder's choice for Leyritz. Unfortunately for the Orioles, the wrong choice by the fielder. So Erickson has pitched so well, but now a little mental error has the crowd on its feet for Derek Jeter. Slow hopper. Duncan in no man's land, but actually both runners did a good job. As Jeter is out, but Duncan was almost hung up between third and home. But this time Erickson, once bitten, twice shy, took the out at first.
Well, Duncan did a good job to catch the eye of Erickson. This is a swinging bunt in front of home plate. Duncan takes a couple of steps down the line. Erickson looks him back, thinks about second, and has to take the only play at first. It works just like a sacrifice bunt. 1 out, runners at second and third.
And that'll bring the top of the order up, Wade Boggs. If there's a guy that can go down and get a sinking fastball, it's Boggsy. Singled up the middle in the third inning. He's 1 for 2. Duncan at third, Leyritz at second. 1 out. Fastball on the outside corner, strike 1.
Take a look at the Orioles defensive alignment on the infield. They're playing back. They don't want to allow that ground ball to get through a drawn-in infield and give the Yankees 2 runs. They'll concede a run for an out here. Boggs hits a ground ball to second base. They tie the game.
Boggs a grounder to Ripken, looks home, now gets the runner Leyritz back at second base, but the Yankees have tied it at 1.
Davey Johnson has to be thinking about that Leyritz bunt that could have cut down Mariano Duncan at third base. Boggs does his job. He gets the ball on the ground. Ripken goes in the hole at shortstop. Leyritz went too far. They get him at second. Second out of the inning, but on the play, Duncan comes in to score. You see, that ball is in front of him, and he had nowhere to go. So he goes too far, and he gives up the out. They cash in the leadoff double.
As did to the Orioles. They had a leadoff double and played a little ball in the first. Boggs at first, 2 outs for Timmy Raines. And Rock Raines looks at strike 1. Raines 1 for 2, a little infield 15-foot single in the first, and a fielder's choice. All the high-scoring games we have seen, most notably in the American League this year, folks, this is baseball.
Now that's what happens when you send 2 tough pitchers to the mound in an action-packed series, and you think, oh man, we're going to see a lot of runs here. 6 hits and 2 runs. Erickson and Pettit have both been on.
First strike, 2-2. Paul O'Neill on deck. 94 miles an hour, that pitch. Clock. A beach ball has... where are we? The Murph? Didn't expect to see that. You know, more like a couple of lifeboats that we needed here the last couple of days. Beach ball I did not expect to see at Yankee Stadium on September the 18th. And a murky evening in the Bronx. And it's now full, and that'll give Boggs a chance with 2 outs to take off on this pitch to Tim Raines. Orioles scored their run in the first. Ground out by Todd Zeile after Anderson led off the game with a double. Boggs' fielder's choice a moment ago. Scored Mariano Duncan here in the bottom of the 5th. He led off this inning with a double. So almost a mirror image in the run column. Strike 3 swinging. So that ends that. But the Yankees pick up the equalizer. We are 1-1 through 5. A money game and an old-fashioned pitcher's duel between Andy Pettit and Scott Erickson. 1-1 top of the 6th. As Pettit now tries to continue his mastery of the Orioles. Top of the order, Brady Anderson. Again, swinging at the first pitch. Duncan knocks it down. Can't get it. So Brady, hacking away, has both Oriole hits tonight.
Now, Duncan got to the ball and actually got his glove on it. But when he knocked it down, he couldn't find the handle. It stays right there by his leg. He grabs for it, but can't come up with it. Initially, if he comes up with it cleanly the first time, he may have a shot at Anderson. It's a base hit all the way.
So Anderson aboard for Roberto Alomar, who sacrificed and struck out tonight. We told you that Pettit leads the majors with 10 pickoffs and try to get Brady leading the wrong way. Brady, of course, will certainly go. The Yankees, by the way, as a staff, thanks in part to Pettit, lead the entire majors with pickoffs with 28.
And Andy Pettit has always had this move all the way back into his high school days. It's something that he had just naturally developed, and boy, it's so deceptive. You really can't get a read on his step. Good base runners have a tendency to be bold and get out there and try to wait as long as possible. But boy, Pettit can gun him down. Tough to get a good jump on him.
Nice bunt by Alomar. Boggs will go to first base to Tino Martinez. And for the second time tonight, Alomar has laid down a perfect bunt, moving Brady Anderson along.
Alomar is the kind of player that you can put him anywhere in the lineup, and he can hit according to that spot. Right here with the good base runner at first base, Brady Anderson, he puts a bunt down to third base, forces Boggs to go across the diamond. Alomar hitting the leadoff spot for a while. He hit third for a while this year, and he can do anything. If you need home runs as a three-hitter, he can do that. You need a walk as a leadoff guy, he can hit like that.
He did cleanup once this year. Pettit will talk to Larry. It's given me a chance to put in perspective what Andy Pettit has done this year with 21 wins. He, of course, is trying to match John Smoltz with 22 wins. Lefty Gomez in 1934 won 26 games for the Yankees. But since 1934, all right, that's over 60 years. Only 7 times has a Yankee won 22 games. Only 7 times. The most recent was Ron Guidry, who won 22 in 1985. Gator, of course, from the same state that Pettit was born, Louisiana, won the 25 back in 1978. But that puts into perspective where he's going. A little swinging bunt by Todd Zeile. Pettit will tag him himself, and Anderson over to third with 2 outs.
Zeile hit that ball right off the end of the bat. A little squibber down the first base line, and when Pettit went over to field it, he just went right into the base path and cut off Zeile. You see, he hit it right off the end of the bat, kind of cued it down the first baseline. Pettit fields it, and then just runs in front of Todd Zeile for the out.
But just to finish that thought, as Palmeiro comes up, the 7 guys, Whitey Ford did it twice, Ron Guidry did it twice, Catfish Hunter once, Tommy John once, Ralph Terry once. I know those were all from the 60s and beyond, but nobody did it in the 50s or 40s. No Allie Reynolds, no nothing. Just to put into perspective the kind of year that Andy Pettit has had. Check swing right at Boggs, and Anderson will get stranded. So the leadoff single goes for naught. Pettit wriggles free, and a 1-1 game. 1-1, the Yankees and Orioles in a playoff-type game, and boy, are we ever excited to take part for the first time here at ESPN in the postseason of Major League Baseball, the majority of the opening round division playoffs.
Getting a little preview of playoff-type baseball here tonight. 1-0. 1-1. He's supposed to be here in the 6th.
3-4-5 on the outfielder, and Martinez come up against Scotty Erickson. We understand that Roger Clemens has 15 strikeouts through 6 innings. So Steve Levy will keep us posted. We understand that Clemens is going to pitch on Sunday in one of those games. Don't know if it's the night game, which will be the ESPN game, although I bet you Kevin might do that.
Give him another 4 or 5 hours of rest.
Yep. A national spotlight against the Yankees.
Rogers really losing it, isn't he?
Yeah. Yeah. O'Neill a chopper, past Ripken into left field, base hit. Yankees with the leadoff man aboard, as they did the last inning, and that's when they tied it.
Now another ground ball base hit. You can see a big hole on the left side as Ripken will step up the middle. But he can't get to that ball and flag it down. Zimmer and Torrey enjoying that base hit to start the inning.
Sixth Yankee hit of the evening. The Orioles just have 2. Here's Big Cecil. Cecil now over the 250 mark, lifetime home runs. Conveniently, that's his average at 250.
Joe Torre felt that Cecil Fielder, when he first came over here, pressed a bit, trying to show that he was worthy of being involved in this pennant race. He has gotten some big home runs. He beat Toronto here last week with a home run to right center.
Low and away, as you want to be careful with Cecil. Erickson does that, but misses ball 1.
Ideally, what Joe Torre would like to see here is just Cecil drive one to the alleys. I think Cecil gets to thinking about hitting the home runs, and his swing has a tendency to get long.
Ground ball, tailor-made. Ripken, Alomar, Palmeiro. The Orioles have turned their second double play. It doesn't take long in New York where they're all, hey, Cecil, you're good. In a New York minute. You're a bum. What are you doing?
Another ground ball. O'Neill got a ground ball base hit, and then Erickson comes right back with a sinker to Fielder, and he gets a ground ball to Ripken, who goes to Alomar to Palmeiro for a double play, and just like that, that leadoff base hit is erased.
Second double play of the evening for the Orioles. Tino Martinez as Erickson misses outside, ball 1. Tino hit this one to center field. Anderson is there. The crowd got a rise out of it, but the Yankees are gone. My goodness, we played 6 innings in a 1-1 game. Long time, the Rocket Man. Long, long night for the Tiger batters. Top of the 7th already here in New York. A 1-1 game, and Bobby Bonilla, Cal Ripken, and Eddie Murray up against Andy Pettit. Bonilla, when the Orioles were 12 back on the 28th of July, had 12 home runs. In the game since, his 50-odd games, he's hit 16 home runs and smokes a base hit up the middle. The first Oriole other than Brady Anderson with a safety tonight. So Bonilla is aboard, and if you weren't with us earlier, doubleheader tomorrow at 4 o'clock Eastern time, and both guys that pitched yesterday, David Cohn and Mike Mussina, expected to go in one of the 2 games, and then David Wells for the Orioles, Kenny Rogers for the Yankees will also go. So there's David, who said he felt good, because I could feel bad tomorrow, but feels real good. He was the first of the 2 pitchers to say they'll go tomorrow. Mussina took a little bit longer this evening, but that's the plan tomorrow. So at the end of tomorrow night, we'll have 3 games in the books between these 2, and the AL East picture could change drastically or not much at all. Bonilla at first base with none out. Cal is 0 for 1 with a walk and a strikeout.
You see, Bobby Bonilla at first base is about 3 feet off the bag. Andy Pettit can nail you. if you just lose concentration at all. Just tap Tito on the legs, and I'm not going very far here. You know, that pickoff move, obviously, it's such a good weapon to eliminate base runners, but it also keeps that lead close at first, should you get a tough ground ball and need a force at second.
Headed behind Ripken, 2-0. Been a little bit inside. Cal wanted to hack.
He's been doing that all night long, and those fans down that third baseline better be paying attention when Ripken's up there, because Pettit continues to throw that cutter inside.
Sharpland's taking a beating, not only from yesterday from the raindrop, but from Cal chomping it left. Boy, did it rain hard here yesterday. Oh, he pulled the string that time. It's 2-2. You know, I'm talking about the rain. Because of the prowess of the pitchers tonight, Buck, we haven't seen that shaky outfield. I don't mean the players, I mean the field, come into play yet.
It really hasn't been a problem at all, except on the first base hit by Brady Anderson.
But folks, keep it in mind, it has not been a problem yet. This one is down the left field line. Raines is over in the corner. Bonilla to third base. He's being held up by Sammy Perlazo. Ripken with a double. So the Orioles with a pair of runners in scoring position with none out. On Cal's 35th double of the year.
Now that ball was out over the plate, and that enabled Cal Ripken to keep it fair. He didn't get that ball inside. Tim Raines does a pretty good job of playing this cleanly down in the corner. That keeps Bobby Bonilla from scoring. He gets it to Derek Jeter.
Well, again, what you brought up, Bonilla close to first base, plus with none out, you're just not going to send him. And that brings up Eddie Eat, Drink, Envy Murray with the infield pinched in a 1-1 game in the 7th. Went around, strike one. Murray is struck out and flown out to center field. Looks right in that Oriole uniform again, doesn't he, Buck?
Looks natural.
Met, Dodger, Tribe. That's what he's supposed to be wearing.
Now watch this at bat. Eddie Murray obviously is thinking about at least driving the ball to the outfield, so he wants the ball away from him. Andy Pettit is so strong on the inside part of the plate, but Murray has really won this matchup. Pettit doesn't want Murray to extend his arm.
Chopper past the diving Boggs. Bonilla will score. Ripken is being held up. Murray with a big turn, trying to get Raines to throw it his way. But Eddie Murray doing what he has done his entire career, drive-in runs. And the Orioles lead it 2-1.
Well, the drawn-in infield really doesn't make any difference here, because if they're back, they make a play on it, and the run still scores. Boggs dives for it, but it's by his glove in the left. The Orioles really haven't had Andy Pettit's number tonight, but Eddie Murray gets a base hit to left field to drive home one.
For Murray, RBI number 1,891. My goodness, he's almost at 1,900. He is already 8th on the all-time list. And now he is just, and you see his numbers, he's actually just 12 behind Willie Mays in 7th. Foul back by B.J. Surhoff, and is 0 for 2. I know we're a bit ahead of ourselves, but the Orioles, when they've started this run from the 28th of July on, are 8-0 in one-run games. File it away.
Pettit needs a strikeout or a pop-up in this situation. The Orioles have B.J. Surhoff, who has already struck out once tonight.
Oh, the bat goes flying. Pettit to Jeter. Oh, he turns the double play.
Let me
What
tell
a
you,
play.
that is some double play. We talk about the maturity of young Andy Pettit, and he shows it right here on this play. He gets a comebacker off the bat of B.J., and watch how he looks the runner, Cal Ripken, back at third. He looks him back and then throws a strike to Jeter, who hangs in tough and gets the double play. Generally, you concede a run on this play, but Pettit made a fine defensive play to get the double play and keep the runner at third.
There was Davey looking down at Cal. Well, Cal wasn't going anywhere. He's still at third with 2 outs and Mark Parent up, and a good play by Lawrence on a ball in the dirt.
Now, Jimmy Lawrence had one get away from him earlier in the game, and since then he has smothered every breaking ball in front of him. He saves a run right here for Andy Pettit. That third ball in the dirt, you see how he tilted his body over to really smother that ball and keep it right there at home.
Again in the dirt, and he's 2-0 to Parent. Remember, on deck is Brady Anderson, who looks more dangerous hitter than Mark Parent. Brady with 46 home runs, etc.
Let me tell you, Mark Parent is dangerous in these counts, 2-0, where he can sit on a fastball.
Little chopper. Bond's going to have to hurry. Makes the play. Oh, some good infield defense by the Yankees. Even though the Orioles have the lead thanks to Eddie Murray. 7th inning stretch time.
Scored another. Cal Ripken's at third base on this play. B.J. Surhoff gets sawed off and hits it back to the mound. Pettit looks Ripken back to third and then goes to second to Jeter, who hangs in tough and gets the double play. Now Ripken is still at third. Then Mark Parent hits a dribbler down the third base line. Wade Boggs comes with it, and he throws Parent out at first base, so the Orioles strand a base runner. That could become very huge here in this 2-1 ball game. You can't fault Ripken because it didn't look like a double play ball.
Bernie Williams, Mariano Duncan, Jim Leyritz. 6, 7, 8 in the Yankees order here in the bottom of the 7th inning. Baltimore 2, New York 1. Chris Berman along with Buck Martinez. And we are glad you're along for the ride. If this doesn't get you set for October baseball, I don't know what will. Chopper to Alomar. Routine play to Palmeiro. 1 up, 1 down in the Yankee 7th. So Bernie will sit down 1 for 3, and that'll bring up Mariano Duncan, who started near the only rally that the Yankees had in which produced a run. Led the 5th with a double. Came around to score eventually on a fielder's choice by Wade Boggs. Mariano Duncan, an all-star a few years ago with the Phillies. Remember that Phillies team in '93 that really of the teams in this era was a little bit different than the other champions we had, certainly different than a Blue Jay team or Braves team or Twins, but it's that attitude that Joe Torre saw, and Duncan was a big part of that squad. Pete Incaviglia, sitting on the Oriole bench, obviously a part of that as well with the Phillies squad. 2-0 to Duncan.
Pretty good hack right there. Well, you know, we talked about Duncan and the fact that he was signed as a backup player. They had Tony Fernandez and Pat Kelly, but he has really become an important cog in this offense.
One of the more important Yankees this year, although the list is long when you look at this team. Now the count is 2-2. Scott Erickson Had gone 7 or more innings his last 3 starts. Now is pitching here into the 7th as 15 ground ball outs.
When he's got his good sinker working, you just can't get the ball airborne.
Again, boy, that was nasty as Duncan will sit down. Strike number 4 for Erickson.
You can see that Erickson basically has just shot for the heart of the plate here. And the movement takes it down and in, and he strikes out Duncan.
Yeah, the cheer you hear is Jim Leyritz being called back to the dugout. Darryl Strawberry, the pinch hitter, with 2 out here in the 7th and none on.
Well, when you've got a weapon like this, you don't want to leave him in the stall. Run him out there and give him a shot at the short porch. That's a game face. Strawberry has only faced Erickson 3 times, but he has 2 hits. Erickson's a low ball pitcher. Strawberry's a low ball hitter.
Darryl, one of 5 players this season to have picked up lifetime home run number 300. Yankee fans hoping he can take it yard right here. I would say that Bobby Bonilla is rather deep in right field. Yeah.
When Strawberry first joined the Yankees, he really had a good stroke going. His timing was quick, and he was hitting some home runs. He has been hampered by an Achilles problem, and I don't know that he can really drive off his back leg. He kind of felt for that ball and had his body too involved in the swing.
Oh, fielded nicely by Erickson. The pitch to Palmeiro. We have played 7 at Yankee Stadium. The Orioles 2. The Yankees 1.
Steve Levy back in our Wednesday Night Baseball studios, and Roger Clemens mowing them down in Motown. He's got 17 strikeouts through 7, 3 shy of his own big league record. Brad Ausmus, the only Tiger not the K tonight. Chris and Buck.
Wow. And when he throws a pitch like that, Buck, I mean, it's not just the heat like the old days.
That was the splitter there that has been a very effective pitch for him. 17 strikeouts. Joe Girardi comes in defensively after Darryl Strawberry pinch hit for Jim Leyritz.
Brady Anderson will lead it off here in the 8th. Brady, remember, is swung at the first pitch. I don't recall in the 3rd inning, but certainly hit a long foul on the first pitch in the 1st. He got a base hit in the 6th inning. Among everything else that Brady does. Oh, my goodness, he laid off a pitch outside.
You know, we mentioned his 46 home runs, and everybody has the perception that Brady Anderson is this little guy with not an awful lot of strength. He's 6'1" and weighs 190, and he's pretty ripped. He got a lot of power.
Oh, he was hit. He says he was. I was starting to tell you that he leads the American League with hit by pitch with 20, which, by the way, ties him. So let's take a look.
Tough to tell right there, but his reaction indicates to me that it hit him. Watch how quickly he reacts and starts to turn toward first. He ducks out of the way and then starts to run to first. Now he's waiting for it to show a red spot. He tried to sell Kenny Kaiser. Said, look, Kenny, it hit me right here. You got to pinch yourself real quick.
Well, it's hard to put shoe polish on your bicep, isn't it? I was going to say that the 20 hit by Fitz Kaiser with an Oriole record set by Bobby's 7-year Gritch. Haven't got to use that one in a while. He almost had number 21. He'll get on any way he can. That time, an off-speed pitch by Pettit. Strike call, 2-1. Orioles have 5 hits tonight. Brady has 2 of them, a double and a single.
Well, that's a pretty good fastball. He just missed with inside. You can see Girardi on the inside corner. Pettit delivers, but Kenny Kaiser felt that it missed that inside corner. A good breaking ball.
Count is full now to Brady. Leadoff man here in the 8th inning in a 2-1 Baltimore lead. First of a 3-game series here in New York. Ripped but foul. Jeff Nelson is up in the Yankee bullpen along with Graham Lloyd. Nelson, who really struggled this season, in the last 3 to 4 weeks has been the pitcher that the Yankees had hoped that they had gotten in that deal with the Seattle Mariners. In case you have forgotten or have been Rip Van Winkle, have been in a hole somewhere, 3-game series here in New York. Orioles are 3 games back. Brady fooled by that pitch. Tino Martinez calls for it. Just on the grass, and there's 1 out.
Oh, remember, Brady Anderson ducked away from an inside pitch and felt that he had been hit. Kenny Kaiser didn't think so, so Anderson eventually pops up first out of the inning.
Did not look back at Kaiser at all. Maybe he was trying to eke 1 out. It's been done before. Little chopper by Robbie Alomar. Boggs to Martinez, 2 out. Boggs has played a good third base tonight.
Had a couple tough plays. Last inning, he made a play on Mark Parent on a swinging bunt down the third base line that ended the inning.
Looking ahead to the Yankee 8th, it's 9-1-2. Jeter, Boggs, and Raines. Jesse Orosco has been throwing in the Baltimore bullpen.
This is a guy you have to be careful with here. You've got 2 outs and a base open. Palmeiro on deck.
Chopper, Boggs again. Steele is gone, and we move to the bottom of the 8th. Was out-dueled 21-game winner Andy Pettit to date. Derek Jeter leads off the Yankee 8th inning with his club trailing 2-1.
Scott Erickson has been great in September with the Orioles. 7-0 with an ERA under 2. And he's got that look about him tonight, doesn't he?
So last September it didn't count with the season they had. I'll tell you what else he has about him tonight, Buck, with the count is 1-1. No walks tonight. So including tonight, he's given up only 1 walk in his last 4 starts. Up top with that one, though, 2-1 to Jeter. Alan Mills, number 75, has now joined the Jesse Orosco, the veteran left-hander in the Oriole pen. Fastball moved Jeter back a little bit, and that time it looked like they got the signs crossed up a little. For Parent just wants to say, Scotty, don't get too excited.
Boy, it's the perfect time for this visit. We mentioned that Mark Parent is catching Scott Erickson for the 5th straight start. He didn't like this last pitch. Look at Parent set up, down and away. That ball gets away from him, up and in. He said, you know what? Let me go out here and talk this thing over. Reminding Scott Erickson to lead with his hand and let that ball jump out of your hand. That's when you get that good movement. Don't try to muscle up on it.
Jeter drives it to right center field. That'll drop in for a base hit. Pinilla over quickly to hold Jeter to a single. But the Yankees have the leadoff man and the potential tying run aboard.
Time and time again, Derek Jeter makes you forget he's a rookie. What a big hit here to start the 8th inning off. The Yankees are down by a run, and he drives it up the alley. Bobby Bonilla gets over and cuts it off to keep Jeter to a single.
Davy Johnson onto the mound. He's had Orozco up longer than Mills. Boggs, the left-hander, up. I would think it would be Jesse, but that's it for Scott Erickson, who has pitched beautifully and leads with a 2-1.
Take you a second from the Yankee-Orioles game to Detroit. Boston's Roger Clemens has 19 strikeouts. He's one shy of his own major league record. 2 outs, bottom of the 8th, a 1-2 count. This courtesy of our friends at Nesson.
But it's a hot rocket on the mound. Crowd roaring with every pitch. Here's the 1-2 pitch, and it's fouled back. Higginson still has life at the plate.
10 years since Clemens had the 20 strikeout game at Fenway Park against the Seattle Mariners.
Leads the American League in strikeouts and is really padding the total tonight. Here's the 1-2 pitch. Count is even. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
That's one of the few splitters in this game that has been so far off the plate that the hitter has not chased it. Most of the time he's just teased him with it and been able to pick up a number of strikeouts with it.
Here's the 2-2. And it just missed. Not sure whether Tim McClellan was tempted to go up with that right hand on that one or not, but it was a close pitch. Here's the 3-2 pitch and 2 outs. The runners go. Here's the 3-2 pitch, and Higginson will ground it to second base. Try to move on to retire Higginson. Keep the Tigers off the board here in the bottom of the 8th.
Back in New York, Jesse Orozco is the new pitcher. Charlie Hayes is the pinch hitter for Wade Boggs. Boggs not pinch hit for very often. But as soon as Davy Johnson went to Jesse Orozco, something he used to do 10 years ago when he managed the Mets to their World Championship, and Orozco was one of the guys in his pen. As soon as he made that move, Joe Torre brought in Charlie Hayes, who will now continue with third.
Hayes has pinch hit twice for Wade Boggs so far this season. This is his 3rd time. He's 2 for 2 with 2 ribbies.
Boggs' lifetime against Orozco, 2 for 14. Hayes 1 for 4, if you're looking at those numbers. Here's Boggsy, who said his thoughts about Charlie Hayes and the acquisition were really misunderstood. We're trying to win here, he said. Charlie's a good player. He can help us win. Welcome to the Bronx. We wanted to make that loud and clear. Derek Jeter, the runner at first base, and Orozco has the good move and, of course, left-hander. Makes it a little tougher for Jeter to take that extra step. Orozco actually pitched with the Mets in the 70s, Buck, 1979. Outside 2-0 to Hayes.
You know, Jesse Orozco's got plenty of experience in games like this. It was his glove that seemed to stay up in the air forever when the Mets won in '86. A very interested Scott Erickson on the Oriole bench.
You know, Orozco, suffice it to say, works a tad slower than Scott. 39 years young. Reno to Hayes. Erickson, of course, did not walk any, struck out 4, gave up only 7 hits. Can win, cannot lose. Although he is responsible for Jeter at first. So his line not yet complete. Fans on their feet. 40,335 on their feet.
See, this is one thing you get when you get Charlie Hayes here. You get a good defensive player, but you get a veteran back. Somebody that's not going to panic in these situations. He's got the count in his favor. And he's not thinking about really pulling the ball and driving out of the ballpark. He's thinking about driving it up the alley, hit a double, go second and third. He'll be very selective here. Count still in his favor.
Fly ball to routine center field. Brady Anderson is there. 1 out. Jeter back to first. So Orozco, after letting the count go to 3-0, gets his man Hayes, and Bogsy, well, he's done for the night. Very interested Andy Pettit looking on next to him. That'll bring up Tim Raines. Raines, a little squib base hit in the first.
Do you think Joe Torre plays run and hit here? Trying to get something going?
Got 2 of his best wheels involved with Jeter and certainly Raines at the plate. Think Orozco's thinking the same thing?
Yeah, he's got Jeter on his mind right now. He just wants to make sure that Derek Jeter doesn't get a running start. Jeter's 12 for 18 steals.
Boy, this Orozco-Raines matchup goes back to Mets Expos, doesn't it? In the early 80s. 3 for 17, but that's over a lot of years. Zeal, Alomar, Palmeiro, and Orozco comes in and shuts the door. The Orioles turn their 3rd double play. We're headed to the 9th, 2-1 Baltimore. We're in the 9th of this crucial little lifter of the 3-game series between the Orioles and the Yankees, and look at the play that Alomar makes with Derek Jeter bearing down on him, and then watch the scoop that Palmeiro makes at first base. Wow.
Great defense on both ends of this play. Jeter is all over Alomar, and Robbie throws without stepping toward first. And Erickson, a very interested Oriole on the bench.
You know what I love about that? His game face hasn't changed, even though he's still sitting. And Andy Pettit says, okay, lose the jacket. As Palmeiro, Bonilla, and Ripken are up here in the 9th. We have history perhaps brewing in Detroit with the Rocket Man. Here's Steve Levy.
Gentlemen, thank you. I want to take you back to Tiger Stadium. Roger Clemens finishing up his warm-up tosses for the bottom of the 9th inning in Detroit. He's got 19 strikeouts, 1 shy of his own major league record. This again courtesy of our friends at Nesson.
Wonder if Clemens himself ever would have thought that he would have had a chance to break his own record.
Well, if he does, we'll get a chance to ask him that, hopefully. They're just about 18 short right now. Paint quick. That's a Yankee fan, too. Is that a Yankee hat?
I hope not. I hope not. Probably why he can't add up the strikeouts. Here's Alan Trammell. Trammell's handled Clemens pretty well in his career after the first pitch and pops it up. Mo Vaughn makes the catch, 1 out. So Clemens will have to strike out the final 2 Tiger outs to break the record now.
I'm not sure, but I thought I heard Roger telling Mo to drop it.
1 to tie, 2 to break his own record.
Again at Tiger Stadium in Detroit, there's 1 down now in the bottom of the 9th inning. Boston's Roger Clemens has 19 strikeouts, 1 shy of his major league record.
Sierra shoots it up the middle and past Garcia Parra into center field. Crowd cheers. And again, not so much the fact that it's a Tiger hit, but the Tigers do not record an out by anything other than the strikeout.
Well, I'll be honest with you, this gives him a better chance because you have Clark coming up and Fryman coming up, who he's got 3 times in this game. Right back up the middle. Garcia Parra cannot get to the ball. He'll try, can't make the play. And another base runner for the Tigers. So they've had a few base runners the last couple of innings. But for the record, it works out pretty good here with Clark, who's going down 3 times, and Fryman, who's going down 3 times.
Well, here's the left-handed hitting Clark. Swing and a miss. Strike 2.
Twice he's got him tonight on high fastballs, and the 3rd time he got him on the split finger. I think I'd stay up and in on him.
But ruled the ball by Tim McClellan. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Clark makes contact, fouls it off.
Up and in, Roger. Tried the splitter that time, just got a piece of it.
Of New England hanging on this one. 1 ball, 2 strikes. High and wide, 2-2.
Hasselman wanted that fastball upstairs, but got away outside to Tony Clark.
Foul tip. Fouled it back on the screen. Just getting a piece of it.
Has to be a strange feeling that right now he's out to tie his own record. Well aware that he needs 2 to break a record of 20 strikeouts in a game.
Keeping you updated in New York, Mariano Rivera is on in relief, now facing Bobby Bonilla in a 1-run baseball game.
Driven on a line to left field. Bragg scooting over after it. Bragg makes the catch in the corner for the 2nd out of the inning. And back to first base goes Ruben Sierra. So Tony Clark finally makes contact tonight, puts the ball in fair territory, flies out to left. So Clemens still 1 strikeout shy.
Right now, we're going to set to take you back to New York, the Orioles and the Yankees. Chris Berman and Buck Martinez. Guys?
All right, Steve, thank you. And the Rocket Man can tie his mark, and we'll keep you posted on that. There are 2 outs here in the 9th. As Steve told you, Mariano Rivera on for Andy Pettit. Mr. Pettit got Palmeiro to fly out to right field. You just saw Bonilla with a little pop behind second base. It was fielded by Duncan. And that brings up Cal Ripken. 1 for 2 and a walk. Mariano Rivera, by the way, has set a new Yankee record for relievers with strikeouts. He has 124. Goose Gossett hit the old mark with 122 back in 1978. And the Goose, nobody threw harder than the Goose that year. That's to put into perspective what Rivera has done and what the fans expect right here. 2-1 Oriole lead. Outside.
Well, Rivera throws as hard as Gossett, if not harder. But because he's got a smooth, easy delivery, the ball really gets on you in a hurry. What a year he has had.
Center field. Bernie Williams is there, so we steamroll to the bottom of the ninth. O'Neill, Fielder, and Martinez due up to try to bail out Andy Pettit, to try to bail out the...
ESPN's Wednesday Night Baseball is brought to you by Slick 50, Advanced Formula Engine Treatment, America's favorite engine treatment.
Well, the stakes are very high here in the bottom of the ninth inning with the Yankees behind the Orioles 2-1. How high are they? Look at Andy Pettit. That's him right now. But a couple of moments ago, Buck, that's his line. Giving up just 5 hits and 2 runs, struck out 6. It's on the wrong end of a potential 2-1 defeat at the hands of Scott Erickson. Here he is after he was relieved.
Wow, he's frustrated. He's got one thing on his mind when he goes to the mound, and that's to win the ball game. He's not upset at anybody or being removed from the game. I mean, he wanted to go out there and beat the Orioles tonight to open up this 3-game series. Joe Girardi, his catcher, reminded him what a strong effort he had here tonight.
Well, with the left-hander Paul O'Neill, the first man up, here's another one of those former Mets, Randall K. Myers, who is the second all-time save man as far as lefties are concerned. He has 271 saves, puts him 9th all-time. Only John Franco has more among lefties. Mike Devereaux has gone into right field to take over for Bobby Bonilla. Boy, you see Davey Johnson bringing Orozco and Myers. It is a time warp across the Triborough Bridge to Shea Stadium. Randall K. Myers, certainly no more engaging personality in baseball, and sometimes he makes his saves interesting.
Well, he's facing an old teammate here in Paul O'Neill to start the bottom of the ninth.
Yep, O'Neill, a member of the championship Reds. And Myers was the third of the 3 nasty boys behind Charlton and Dibble. There's all sorts of connections around here, and Randall K. Myers from Vancouver, Washington, home of Mount St. Helens. The mountain that is no longer since it's exploded. Somehow I think it's fitting. That's where Randy's from. Starts off O'Neill with a ball. And a strike. O'Neill is 2 for 3, a pair of singles, has 2 of the Yankees' 7 hits.
Randy Myers loves to work outside. He doesn't come inside very often. He'll throw that fastball and the breaking ball to the outside. Just missed with that slider.
Again, you know the stakes. The Orioles trail the Yankees by 3, have this 3-game set here. You don't include this game, the 150th game. The Yankees have 8 of their last 12 at home. The Orioles have 8 of their last 12 on the road. First things first, and the Orioles looking to creep closer. The comeback that began on July 29th when they were 12 back. As Myers quickly behind O'Neill, 3-1. Count is full.
Myers is a little bit like a former Oriole closer that they used to call 3-pack. Don Stanhouse, in that he makes all of his saves very interesting. He throws a lot of pitches. He'll get a base runner on. You don't really sit back and relax. Earl Weaver used to really have a tough time when Stanhouse was about.
I was thinking the same thing. Full pack, right? 3-pack, full pack. O'Neill drives it to left field, but this is going to be foul.
Earl Weaver used to be down in the tunnel in the old ballpark, kind of hiding, and then he'd hear the crowd, and then he'd look back up to see what Stanhouse was doing.
He was always good for a walk somewhere along the line. He's a good reliever, Don Stanhouse. Make no mistake about it. Just exciting. As is Randy. Like we said. Here we go. O'Neill is aboard with the potential tying run. Let's check in with Steve Levy.
All right, Chris, thanks. He did it just minutes ago. Boston's Roger Clemens tied his own Major League record, getting Travis Fryman to end it. 20 strikeouts tonight for the Rocket. Complete Game 4 hitter. Back to Chris and Bob.
Well, we're talking about all this stuff 10 years ago. That was 10 years ago that Roger had the 20 against the Mariners. Wow. You still have that heat. Congratulations, Rocket. O'Neill is walked. Ruben Rivera, who has some wheels, is now the pinch runner. First walk allowed by the Oriole pitchers tonight.
Well, O'Neill had a good at-bat. His job was to get on base. Now he turns it over to Ruben Rivera, who got a load of instruction from Jose Cardinal, the first base coach. Boy, is this a baseball matchup or what?
Cecil Fielder against Randy Myers. An ideal man to homer or double play. As the Eagles once sang, this could be heaven or this could be hell. Ooh, the fastball evens the count at 1-1.
Cecil got beat on that high fastball, 94 miles an hour on the radar gun.
Two and one, up top and outside. Boy, folks, I hope you're enjoying this game as much as we are. I don't know if Scotty's enjoying it as much as we are right now. Andy would like to enjoy it a little bit more.
Now, where do you go 3-1 to Cecil Fielder? Are you bold enough to come inside and crowd him with a fastball? That's where the book says to pitch him. Or do you stay on the outer half? Remember, Cecil can drive it to right center.
Randy Myers has come in and walked the first two Yankees he's faced. The tying run in the person of Ruben Rivera is at second. The winning run is on first, and Cecil will be pinch run for by Pat Kelly.
This is a luxury you have in the month of September when the rosters expand. You get O'Neill and Fielder on with a base on balls, and you can go to the bench for some speed. Pat Kelly was at a disappointing season because of injuries. Alan Mills, the right-hander, is ready. Should Davey Johnson want to make a change here? Pat Dobson, his pitching coach, sitting next to him, and you can see he slammed something to the floor of the dugout. The first two walks of the ball game come in the bottom of the ninth inning.
Nobody out, nobody on here. I mean, start the ninth, and Myers comes in and changed the whole complexion of the game. The left-handed bat of Tino Martinez is up. There's a strike call. Tino is 0 for 3 tonight. Fielder's choice, apply to left, apply to center. As a matter of fact, Tino, one of the few that lofted the ball out of the infield against Scotty Erickson. Breaking ball outside, 1-1. 40,335, the attendance, and just about all of them on their feet.
Boy, he got a high breaking ball and swung right through it. That was a pitch that Martinez can drive to left center. Watch this last pitch from Myers. It's a high breaking ball.
Well, they're hanging on every pitch, aren't they? Stakes are high. Fooled him. Parent will give it a chase. Makes the play. Rivera bluffing for a moment. Parent calls time. Good pitch by Myers, and he fooled Tino Martinez. There's one out.
Myers got away with a slider earlier and then comes back with a good one. He took something off and had Tina way out in front. A lot of room here in Yankee Stadium behind the plate for those pop-ups. Look at Myers back there to help direct traffic.
Well, with the right-hander Bernie Williams coming up, we told you that Davey goes lefty or righty to close. The right-handed fireball at 1. Don't forget, as exciting as this is, perhaps the next one will be equal to the task, or even more so. Though it would take some, that's for sure. The Rangers and the Mariners coming up next from the Kingdome. Alan Mills, the fireballing right-hander, comes on in relief of Randy Myers. Mills has done a good job lately. There's almost as many strikeouts as innings pitched.
Well, you wonder why they take Myers out. Well, let me tell you, they switched Bernie Williams from a right-handed batter to a left-handed batter, and they pick up over 100 points in batting average. Bernie Williams batting from the right side, hitting .382 compared to .259 as a left-handed batter. So Davey Johnson playing percentages. He's got a good matchup here. Mills against Bernie Williams. Bernie just 1 for 8.
There's Scott Erickson, who pitched so masterfully tonight, pitching 7+, giving up just the 1 run. He stands to win it. So Bernie Williams followed by Mariano Duncan. Mills has retired the last 18 batters he has faced and 20 of the last 21. Now, of course, as soon as you read a number like that, you know what happened. Boom. At least in the Swami's case, whenever I cite something like that, it's a boomerang. Bernie is 1 for 3. He singled in the second inning. Struck out, grounded to second.
Remember, the Orioles have turned 3 double plays already in this game.
Bernie runs well, though, as do the pinch runners. Rivera at second, Kelly at first. Fastball in there for a strike. Clocked at 97 miles an hour. Tried a similar spot, came a little bit too inside.
Chris, this is where the outfield becomes a very important factor. Good speed at second, good speed at first, and the outfield is very soft and very wet. So a base hit, the base runners can afford to be aggressive.
The ball will just die in that grass if it's a blooper. If it's hit on a line by Williams, it could skid almost AstroTurf-like between the fielders. Little sliver up the middle. Rivera will score to tie it. Kelly on his way to third. We're tied at 2.
Bernie Williams has come through all year long with key hits, and he rips it up the middle to chase home pinch runner Ruben Rivera. On the play, look at Pat Kelly. He goes first to third. There's Rivera coming around third. He gets the go-ahead from Willie Randolph, and the Yankees have tied it on Bernie Williams' single here in the ninth.
More importantly, the winning run is just 90 feet away in the person of Pat Kelly at third base. Mariano Duncan is up. Joe Girardi on deck. There's just 1 out. Outfield way in, especially in right field where Mike Devereaux, well, he's not exactly breathing on Robbie Alomar's neck, but any fly ball, and obviously Kelly will be set.
Now that's why the outfield has to come in to the limits of their arms. Kelly with good speed at third. Anything up in the air, he goes right back to third and tags. Duncan is a great fastball hitter and loves the ball away.
That's where Parent was setting up on that particular pitch, which didn't happen as the courtesy toss.
Mariano hitting .332 because he has spread out his approach. Foul line to foul line.
Oh, there's the heater, and he dropped a little bit, too.
Strength against strength. Chris mentioned how hot Alan Mills has been. He powders the fastball right by Duncan.
He's ahead now 0-2. There goes Bernie Williams. It's fouled back. That doesn't really mean much except that you take yourself out of the double play.
And that's important because if you get a tough ground ball out, Duncan runs well from the plate. You eliminate the possibility of a double play.
There goes Williams again. Mills has it. He's frozen for a moment over to Palmeiro. And Duncan is retired. Williams up to second base.
Duncan frustrated with an opportunity to win the ball game. Kelly stays at third. That's the only base runner that means a thing at this point.
And that'll bring up Joe Girardi, who, of course, went in the game after Strawberry pinch hit for Leyritz in the 7th inning. Girardi, like Tino Martinez, kind of shunned by the Yankee fans early on. They were used to Mike Stanley and his home runs. Girardi didn't even wonder August. He hits close to 300. He runs well for a catcher. Maybe the best in the game at moving now. And boy, they'll be moving if he hits it. Kelly at third and Williams at second base. Birdie's just running because he's excited.
The Yankees have had a 9th inning. They've taken advantage of 2 walks and a base hit by Bernie Williams.
Fouled away, it's 1-1.
This would be a tough game for the Orioles to lose.
Oh, brother.
Great starting job by Scott Erickson. 8 solid innings.
Two out, the winning run and the person of Pat Kelly at third base. Oh, the heater. And Girardi weaved at it, 1-2.
We told you that Alan Mills has been throwing very well lately, and it's because he's healthy again, and that great fastball is back.
Little flare to right center field. Caught by Devereaux. Girardi gave it a ride. Devereaux got the good jump. And we'll go to extra innings. The Yankees thought they had it. Look at Zip. Oh. Hey, Zip, you did tie it. Let's go to the 10th, shall we? Joe Girardi thought that maybe he had won it for the Yankees in the bottom of the 9th. He got better lumber to it, Buck, than I thought he did when the ball left the bat.
Well, if Davey Johnson doesn't make a defensive move here in right field to put Mike Devereaux out there, look at him talking to the ball. Get in there, get in there. And then Mike Devereaux makes the catch, and there's the frustration of Girardi, who thought he had a game winner.
tension, huh?
Oh, man. Ladies and gentlemen, if you have not really been a big baseball fan, but we're kind of curious tonight, maybe this has whet your appetite. Ruben Rivera stays in right field. Remember, he ran for Paul O'Neill, so that's a straight switch. And Eddie Murray starts things off here in the 10th. Eddie drove in what then was the go-ahead run in the 7th inning with a single. Plating Bobby Bonilla. So Eddie 1 for 3 tonight. 9 ribbies away from 1,900 in his career. And Mariano Rivera starts him off with a strike. Boy, that formula of Rivera and Wetland has worked so well for Joe Torre, but usually in a leading role. To bring Rivera in down by a run just speaks to the magnitude of this ball game. And now that Wetland is healthy, Rivera has become Superman again in the setup role. As a closer, when Wetland was not healthy, Mariano was just good.
Now, he came in the 9th inning with 1 out to face Bobby Bonilla and Cal Ripken and retired both of them on pop-ups. There's so much life in his fastball. That ball just takes off upstairs, Eddie Murray. You know, you look at Rivera and you say, man, he's just overpowering. But he throws 2 fastballs, a 2-seamer and a 4-seamer. He works both sides of the plate. He works up and down, and he's got a good slider. He's more than a guy that just stands out there and blows fastballs. Bad news for hitters in the American League is that he's also working on a pretty good changeup right now.
Well, he's just begun here in his career. You talked about it at the outset, Buck. Pressure really more on the Orioles. Even though you would think the Yankees being hunted, you know, they would be the ones that started to being backed in the corner. Where the Orioles lose it and fall 4 back, so even a sweep tomorrow would be just 2. Now, admittedly, there would be 10 games to go after tomorrow's doubleheader, but get that first one and you open yourselves up to all sorts of possibilities. And then maybe the Yankees really think about it a little bit more.
And then they go to that doubleheader tomorrow with Cone in question. You don't know what you're going to get from him. Mind you, Mike Mussina's in the same boat.
Not quite, really, with Cone coming back from the aneurysm, obviously. So theoretically not the same boat. Rogers and Wells in the other game. Although we don't know that it will be Cone against Mussina. I mean, which goes where has not yet been determined.
I think they'll go with David Cone in Game 1, and that's what Davey Johnson had hoped for, was Mike Mussina to pitch in Game 1, so it would be the same matchup they had rained out here last night. I think the reason you send David Cone out there, if he is on, you put that first game in your pocket. I think the difference between David Cone and Mike Mussina is the fact that Cone is used to being out on the mound in big game situations, and he loves it.
Rivera now will deliver to Murray for the 10th time in this at-bat. Hit the ball to left field. Tim Raines stops and makes the play, and there's 1 out. Don't forget, when we're done here, we'll send you right out to the Kingdome for the Rangers and the Mariners. Bobby Witt and Sterling Hitchcock slated to go in that one. That lead down to 4 out of the West. And again, the Mariners become players in both the West and the wild card race. B.J. Surhoff 0 for 3. Grounded right back to Rivera. Has the ball bounce off him, but has plenty of time to recover. 2 up, 2 down here in the 10th. And most of the crowd still here, as well they should be. This is not quite the West Coast scenario where, boy, it's the 7th or 8th, we gotta go. They didn't come here in this kind of a dank mid-September eve in the Bronx to get in their car and hustle home. It does not happen here. Not so much the West Coast as it is L.A. more than anywhere else is what I'm really talking about.
An L.A. thing.
I was not over my Giant fans, those that are left going out to 3-com this year. Oh, Mark Parent waves at that one. It's 1-1. So we look ahead to the Yankee 10th. Jeter, Hayes, and Raines. Yankee brain trust, Stottlemyre and Zimmer outside of Torrey. Flanking Joe, I should say. Hey, Joe Torre and Davey Johnson could both manage teams in the National and American League to postseason berths. Very few times has that happened. Guys managing teams in both leagues. Obviously, Sparky, one of those that's done it. Charlie Hayes calls for it. Will move to the bottom of the 10th inning. For the bottom of the order, Derek Jeter will try to start things off for the Yanks. All right, we'll get out to Dwayne Stats and Joe Morgan and the Kingdom as fast as we can. And boy, Buck Martinez, if we had a dandy here at Yankee Stadium.
The starting pitching really set the tone for this ball game. Scott Erickson and Andy Pettit were tough. They have held these two good offensive ball clubs to just 4 runs now as we're in the bottom of the 10th inning.
So Derek Jeter will start it off for the Yankees, who tied it in the bottom of the 9th with a 1-out single by Bernie Williams. Derek Jeter going up against Alan Mills. Mills does not have the frame of one-time Oriole Jose Mesa, but he does look somewhat Mesa-like with the Louis Tiant autographed Fu Manchu mustache out there on the hill. A look that I once tried to sport myself at college. I didn't have quite the fastball that these guys have. It was a good look, let me tell you. Louis was my man, though. Jeter, Charlie Hayes, and Tim Raines. 9-1-2 in the order. Mills away, now behind 2-0, and that's what got the Orioles in trouble the last inning, although it was Randy Myers. It's Graham Lloyd up in the Yankee pen, but he could be a moot point. Walked O'Neill and Fielder to start the 9th, and that's really inexcusable, Buck. Hate to say it, but it's inexcusable.
Charlie Hayes is getting some scouting information from Don Zimmer and Joe Torre about Alan Mills and what to expect.
Look like a quarterback being called over to the sidelines with the head coach and the offensive coordinator. Double slant, ZX on 2, ready to break. There's a good breaking ball, sir. 2-2 now to Jeter. Derek 1 for 3 on the night. Singled his last time up to lead off the 8th.
Derek was all set up for the fastball and watched Mills drop that breaking ball on him.
This one will be out of play on the upper deck. Right field stance.
Just to finish up a thought on Charlie Hayes getting that information. You wouldn't do that with a young hitter like Derek Jeter. It might be too much for him to take to the plate. But a veteran like Charlie Hayes can take as much information as you can give him, and then he can sort it out. So he has a game plan.
Rip, base hit. Oh, Derek Jeter just continues to impress. So the winning run is aboard here with none out in the 10th, a potential winning run. Every time we see him play, he makes more fans.
Once again, he leads off the inning late in the ball game with a base hit. Short, quick swing. He pulls it through the left side of the infield. In the 8th inning, with the Yankees down by a run, he got a leadoff base hit. And here in the 10th.
The Yankees have had the leadoff man on 5 of the last 6 innings. In the 5th, it was Duncan who doubled and scored. In the 6th, it was O'Neill who singled but was erased on a double play. In the 8th, it was Jeter who eventually was erased on a double play with a single. In the 9th, it was O'Neill as that runner came around to score the tying run. And now it's Jeter in the 10th. Hop bunt. Fortunately for the Yankees, it was fouled enough away that it was out of play, or out of reach. Charlie probably hasn't laid down a lot of bunts recently.
It's always something that veteran hitters will work on. Now they've got an option or two here. They've shown bunt on the first pitch. Hayes, a good contact hitter. Once again, good speed at first. Torrey can gamble a bit. Start the runner, open up a hole on the infield, maybe go first to third with nobody out. He's showing bunt again. That throw to first base, and Hayes had shortened up on the bat.
Zeal a couple of steps in on the grass. Excuse me, Buck.
Now Zeal's got to really be more aggressive here. He can really shorten up at third.
Obviously, Ripken and Alomar double play depth there, hoping that's exactly what Alan Mills can induce Hayes into doing. Good bunt. Palmeiro will make the tag. And so the go-ahead and the winning run down to second base.
Perfect execution again by Charlie Hayes. Watch how Hayes runs through the tag here. You know, you see a lot of base runners just stop and allow the first baseman to put the tag on him. Look at him. He just runs right through Palmeiro, who has to duck out of the way right at the last moment.
Well, I mean, I certainly wouldn't try to jar the ball loose, but it's always possible.
He didn't want to stop and just concede the out. Davey Johnson now out from the dugout talking to Mills about this matchup. Tim Raines is 4 for 7 against Donald Mills. So I'm sure Davey Johnson with a little reminder, listen, we've got a base open here in this situation. Raines has been a hot hitter. And you've got young Ruben Rivera, who came on as a pinch runner for Paul O'Neill on deck. There you see what Raines has done against Mills. So you got a base open. And a right-handed hitting Ruben Rivera, who pinch ran and scored the tying run in the 9th inning.
Raines is 1 for 4 with that little 20-foot single in the first inning. Derek Jeter with good speed at second base. 1 out, 2-2, bottom 10. Texas and Seattle from the Kingdome coming up as soon as we get finished. Oh, there's a good pitch by Mills, strike 1. Whoa, that's what Raines thought.
Kind of a delayed call from Ken Kaiser, the home plate umpire. Raines will get back in and regroup.
Again, remember that outfield grass on a plunker. Really wet. Tries outside, doesn't get it, 1-1. It doesn't look that bad, except right behind shortstop. Considering all the rain we had. It is soggy. Rip to Alomar, one hop over to Palmeiro, and that will bring Jeter down to third base.
Pretty aggressive pitching by Alan Mills, who retires Tim Raines. Jeter moves over to third. It was a hot shot right at Alomar, but Mills has been so good lately. You can see they're set up outside. That probably caught more of the plate than they wanted to. Now, more discussions at the mound.
The youngster Ruben Rivera up. Ruben, of course, on this squad doesn't play that much. And he homered in his last game Monday at Toronto, after he pinch hit for Paul O'Neill late in that game. His second home run of the year. Home run isn't the issue here, though. Jeter 90 feet away from putting the Yankees 4 up on the Orioles. Low and away, ball one to Ruben Rivera. Oh, he waved at that one. Strike one. All of a sudden, the crowd's kind of quieted down. I mean, they're loud, but they kind of sense that perhaps Rivera overmatched. You don't hear the same yelling that we did in the 9th and earlier here in the 10th.
Well, you can see that Rivera is not taking very good hacks against Alan Mills. That slider is really tough on him.
Barrett set up outside. That's where the pitch went. Actually, it was a little bit up. Could have driven it to right field, but Rivera laid off. The count is 2-2. Derek Jeter, the runner at third base. 2-2, bottom of the 10th. 2 out. 2's all the way around. There it is. Alomar can't get it. The Yankees win. For being quiet. The youngster, Ruben Rivera, who entered the game as a pinch runner in the 9th. His biggest hit as a member of the New York Yankees in their biggest and most important win of the season. The Yankees have opened up a 4-game lead over the Orioles with the double dip tomorrow here against Baltimore starting at 4 Eastern time. Buck, what a stupendous baseball game.
Both ball clubs battled tough, and Alan Mills comes with another slider, but Ruben Rivera hits it over Robbie Alomar's head and dumps it into right field to score Derek Jeter. A disappointing loss for the Orioles as they fall 4 behind New York.
Ruben Rivera just reaches out after a couple of bad hacks and plunks it over Alomar's head. Much to the chagrin of Alan Mills and much to the jubilation of the Yankee brain trust and teammates. The Yankees have tamed the Orioles with a run in the 9th and a run in the 10th, and they beat Baltimore by the count of 3-2. For Buck Martinez, our entire ESPN crew, I'm Chris Berman. We're so glad you could be with us. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. Now let's go out to Dwayne Stats and Joe Morgan in Seattle. Mariners.